At our company mixer, my rival mocked me loudly at the bar, saying, "It's crazy what you can achieve when you steal everyone else's ideas and act like they were yours." She cackled, thinking it was just insider gossip. She didn't know I was standing behind her, along with the regional director of operations. Within 10 minutes, she was suspended. Within 10 days, she was unemployed and blocked by every professional contact she thought she had. I've worked in corporate marketing for most of my adult life. Right now, I'm based in Austin, Texas, working at a mid-sized marketing firm that handles regional campaigns for several big clients, healthcare, tech startups, and even some state-level government contracts. It's not a glamorous job, but it's competitive. Cutthroat. People move fast, talk faster, and everyone's trying to impress someone above them. That's how Rachel Lyman ended up here. She started 2 years ago as a creative assistant. Young, freshly graduated from a big-name university, very polished, very confident. At first, I liked her. She asked questions, seemed interested in how things worked. But after about 3 months, I noticed something weird. She stopped asking questions, but she started making suggestions in meetings that sounded a lot like things I'd just said the week before. The first time, I thought I was imagining it. The second time, I wasn't sure. By the fifth time, I knew. She was copying me. Flat out. She'd take my ideas, reword them just enough to sound new, and present them like they were hers. I'd bring up a concept on Monday, and by Wednesday, she'd be pitching it one-on-one to our supervisor. If I shared a design doc or a presentation outline, she'd skim it, then suddenly have a brilliant idea based on the same bones. It was constant. But here's the worst part. People believed her. She was younger, louder, slicker with her words. She played politics well. She'd compliment people in front of others, laugh at dumb jokes, offer to stay late even when she didn't have to. She had this way of acting like she belonged in every room, even when she didn't know what the hell she was doing. I was more quiet. I worked hard, delivered results, didn't talk big. Maybe that was my mistake. Still, I kept calm. I documented everything. I started saving timestamped versions of all my work. I sent emails to myself outlining timelines and campaign structures. I even took pictures of whiteboards after brainstorming sessions, so I'd have proof of what came from me. It felt crazy to do, but something told me I'd need it. That moment came sooner than I thought. Every year, our company hosts a regional mixer, basically a big networking party with all 3 offices, Austin, Dallas, and Houston. It's half work, half bar crawl. Everyone dresses up, drinks on the company tab, and tries to rub elbows with execs. I almost didn't go. I'd had a long day with a client meeting and figured I'd just make a short appearance. So I showed up around 8 p.m., wearing a blazer, just looking to say hi to a few people and maybe get one free drink before heading home. What I didn't expect was to walk right into a firestorm. I was near the back of the room when I heard laughter from the bar area, loud, messy laughter. The kind that comes from one too many tequila shots. And then I heard her voice. Rachel. I couldn't see her yet, but I recognized that fake smooth tone she always used when she was trying to be funny. I moved a little closer and realized she was holding court at the bar, surrounded by a few coworkers, 2 interns, 1 analyst, and another guy from product. And she was talking about me. Except she didn't know I was there, or that I wasn't alone. I just walked in with our regional director of operations, a man who rarely showed up to these mixers and didn't tolerate nonsense. He joined me in line at coat check, and we made small talk on the way in. Turns out he'd wanted to see how the younger teams were handling the mixer scene. Guess he got a front row seat. Rachel, already drunk, was in mid-sentence when we heard her say, "It's crazy what you can achieve when you steal everyone else's ideas and act like they were yours, right?" Then she laughed. Loud. No shame. Someone near her awkwardly chuckled, probably unsure if it was a joke. She kept going. Hell, I've gotten promotions just repackaging old ideas. People are too dumb to even realize what's happening. I stood frozen. The regional director turned to me slowly and raised his eyebrows. I didn't have to say anything. He stepped forward, walked right up behind her, and said, "Rachel, I need to speak with you." Now. She spun around, her face dropping the second she saw who it was. She mumbled something like, "I was just joking," or, "You know how it is," trying to laugh it off. He didn't laugh. They stepped away to talk, and I went straight to the bar, pretending like I hadn't heard a thing. A few people who'd been near her avoided eye contact with me. One guy gave me this half-sympathetic, half-terrified look. She didn't return to the mixer. The next day, HR sent out a formal notice that Rachel had been suspended pending review. What I didn't know was that this wasn't her first warning. A few other people had come forward in the past with quiet complaints, but nothing stuck. She was too careful, too charming. People didn't want to believe it. My documentation changed that. HR asked me to forward anything I had. I sent them a folder of emails, screenshots, file timestamps, and chat logs. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't embellish. Just the facts. 10 days later, Rachel was officially terminated. But here's where it got really messy for her. The regional director who overheard her? He wasn't just in charge of our region. He was tight with some other execs, including folks from 2 other firms in Austin. Within a week, word had gotten around. Not as gossip, but as a warning. Rachel tried to apply to a few local agencies after she got fired. She didn't get interviews. Her LinkedIn went quiet. A few people she was connected to unfollowed her. She went from rising star to blacklisted in a matter of days. She reached out to a few coworkers privately. One of them showed me the messages. She was trying to explain what happened, blaming me, saying I was threatened by her talent. Nobody responded. As for me, I didn't celebrate. I just kept doing my job. My inbox got quieter. People respected me a little more. My ideas stopped getting borrowed. And Rachel? Last I heard, she moved back to San Diego to take some time off. A few weeks after Rachel was fired, things went quiet. I thought it was finally over. I kept my head down, worked hard, and even landed a small internal promotion. Nothing big, but I was now leading a new campaign team focused on digital ad strategy. Then one morning, I opened my inbox and saw something strange. A calendar invite from my boss. Subject, Private Strategies Sync, urgent. No details, just me and her. Now, she wasn't the type to panic. Cool, collected, rarely even used capital letters in emails. So something felt off. I went to her office at noon, knocked, and stepped inside. She shut the door behind me. "There's something you need to see," she said, motioning me to sit down. She turned her screen toward me. It was a Reddit post, not from a work account, an anonymous user. But the content made it obvious who it was. It was a long rant, posted on her/marketing and cross-posted to her/work reform. The title? How I got pushed out by a jealous coworker who couldn't handle my success. It was Rachel. No names were used, but the details lined up way too closely. Our office location, timelines, even a sentence almost word for word from one of our client briefs. She painted herself as the victim. Claimed a senior employee had bullied her and then framed her for stealing ideas. Claimed I manipulated HR and upper leadership with fake evidence. Said I was emotionally unstable and fixated on her success. And people were eating it up. The post had gone semi-viral. A bunch of commenters were outraged, siding with her. Some were saying things like, "This is exactly what toxic office culture looks like," and classic older employee jealousy. I could tell none of them knew the truth. They were just feeding off drama. But here's where it got worse. A junior coworker from another office had commented on the post, accidentally revealing the name of our company. Just casually, like, "This sounds like what happened at our firm last year." Now it was out there. Public. Tied to us. Legal got involved. Our HR lead called me in for a meeting the next day, not to scold me, but to warn me. "We're treating this as a defamation risk," she said. "We believe you. But if this goes bigger, it might get messy." I asked what they were going to do. "We're contacting the platform, submitting a takedown. But it's going to take time. And Rachel may not stop." She didn't. She started posting more. One about being pushed out of a marketing role by corporate fraud. Another claiming she was smeared by someone with mental health issues. She never used my name, but every post got closer to the truth. Closer to being clearly about me. Then I started getting emails. Not from coworkers, from strangers. Some were supportive. "If this is about you, I just want to say you did the right thing." But others were vile. "You're a bitter old bitch who can't handle competition. I hope someone steals your life the way you stole hers." I was stunned. I hadn't even replied to the Reddit posts. I hadn't said a word. But Rachel had painted me as the villain, and people believed it. I started losing sleep. I changed my LinkedIn settings. I made all my social media private. I told HR I needed some time to deal with the stress, and to their credit, they were understanding. They even offered legal support if Rachel escalated. But I was done being quiet. I knew her tactics. I knew how she operated, and I had more than enough proof to flip the script. I just needed the right time. And when that time came, I planned to make sure Rachel never got the chance to do this to anyone else. About a month later, things hit a boiling point. Rachel had started a blog. I only found out because a former coworker sent me the link. It was under a fake name, Corporate Refugee TX, but everything on it was about me. She still never used names, but the references were specific. Exact project dates, quotes from meetings, client details. Stuff only someone inside the company could know. One post stood out. It was titled, "How My Boss Tried to Sleep Her Way to the Top and Failed." That's when I lost it. The post claimed I had inappropriate relationships with leadership and that my promotion had come from after-hours meetings. It even implied I had flirted with our regional director to get Rachel fired. It was disgusting. A complete lie. And now it wasn't just a smear campaign. It was targeted defamation. I printed every page of the blog, screenshotted it, sent everything to HR and legal in a secure file. They acted fast. The company filed a formal cease and desist letter through legal counsel, citing defamation, harassment, and breach of non-disparagement clauses in her exit contract. They tracked the blog's hosting provider and sent takedown requests. It worked. The blog vanished in 72 hours. But the damage was done. I felt exposed, violated. I'd kept my head down for months, trusted the process, let the system work, and Rachel just kept going. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the ceiling. I hadn't told anyone this yet, but Rachel had actually been in the same grad school cohort as my younger sister. They weren't close, but they had mutual friends. That's how Rachel knew about the job opening at my firm to begin with. I was the one who told my sister to pass along the info. I had brought Rachel into my world, and she had tried to destroy me. I opened my laptop and went through all the old messages from when Rachel first applied. Emails she'd sent asking for help, asking if I could review her resume, asking how to prep for the interview. I still had them. And then I remembered something else. Months ago, maybe 6 months before she got fired, she'd sent me a file to review before a team meeting. I'd glanced at it then, thought it was just messy notes. But now, I pulled it up again. It wasn't notes. It was a pitch for a client campaign. And large sections of it had been copied word for word from a restricted project plan written by a senior strategist from our Dallas office. A plan Rachel never should have had access to. I double-checked. The original was stored in a locked shared drive only accessible to team leads. Rachel hadn't been on that team, but someone had forwarded her a copy, probably by mistake, and she'd used it. That was my proof. Not just that she was stealing, but that she'd accessed confidential material without permission. That was a clear breach of company policy, possibly even a legal issue. I didn't wait. I set up a meeting with legal the next morning and dropped the file on the table. They were stunned, quiet, then furious. "This changes everything," one of them said. "If she used this in any external way, we're looking at more than defamation. This could be a violation of client trust." They asked for time to review. I gave them everything. Meanwhile, Rachel's Reddit posts slowed. No blog. No new drama. But something told me she wasn't done. And I was right. Because a week later, I got a phone call not from work, but from a client. A very big client. And they wanted to know why a former employee of ours had sent them an anonymous message, claiming I had lied to them about campaign performance data. Rachel had crossed the line again. This time, I was going to finish it. The client who called me? They were serious. A hospital network we'd worked with the year before. We'd done a major awareness campaign for them. Social media, outdoor ads, the whole deal. It had been a success. Or so I thought. But now they were second-guessing everything. Their marketing director told me, "We received an anonymous email claiming you inflated the performance reports and that key analytics were manipulated before the final presentation. The file attached matches what you sent us last year." I couldn't breathe for a second. I knew those numbers had been reviewed by 3 people, including one from the finance team. There was no way I would have lied. But the email wasn't about truth. It was about planting doubt. Rachel had taken it one step further. She wasn't just trying to ruin my name in the industry. She was trying to destroy everything I'd worked for: client trust, company credibility, my professional future. I got off that call and went straight to the regional director. I laid everything out: the blog, the Reddit posts, the harassment, and now this. I gave him the new email from the client, along with my full report logs from the campaign. Clean, time-stamped, verified. He didn't say much, just looked at me, stone-faced, and said, "We're going to war." 2 days later, the company officially filed a lawsuit against Rachel for defamation, breach of contract, and violation of confidentiality. We had everything. The stolen internal documents, the slander posted online, and now, interference with a major client. She had no idea what was coming. I heard from a mutual contact, someone who used to work with her, that she got served at her new apartment in San Diego. That she cried. That she swore it was all just a misunderstanding. But this wasn't misunderstanding anymore. This was sabotage. She tried to fight it. She hired a small-time lawyer who argued that her posts were just personal opinion and that she never used real names. That it was protected speech. Didn't matter. Our legal team came armed with proof. IP logs, internal server access records, Slack history showing her bragging to another employee about having dirt on me. It was over. She settled out of court quietly, agreeing to pay damages and a written public retraction, which she tried to hide by burying it on a locked blog page. Our company made her share it on LinkedIn under her real name, or face full public court action. She posted it. It was bland. Legal sounding. No apology, no real ownership. Just the minimum her lawyer could write. But it was public, and it was permanent. Her reputation? Dead. Not just locally, nationally. One of the PR blogs picked up the story, anonymously, calling it the worst corporate self-destruction of the year. Recruiters blacklisted her. Her LinkedIn was scrubbed. Last I checked, she deleted all her profiles. She disappeared. As for me, I didn't walk away untouched. The stress wrecked me for months. I had trouble trusting people. Lost some friends at work who stayed quiet when it mattered. I wasn't innocent either. I let things slide too long. I avoided confrontation until it nearly cost me everything. I thought being polite would save me. It didn't. Documentation saved me. I stayed with the company another year, finished out my role, then quietly moved to a different firm. Still in Austin. Still in marketing. But now I don't mentor people unless I truly know them. I keep work and personal life separate. And when someone tries to step on me again, I don't wait. Because I learned something. People like Rachel, they never stop. They don't get embarrassed. They double down. So when they hit you, you hit back hard. And you don't stop until they know they picked the wrong person.